still have no need to bring all the guns here. That's a little overkill.
Nice to see you again. Bought a poster board.
Do what, baby?
Should have bought a poster board. Know it?
That's fine. I said they want to protest. Let them protest. That's their rights. Not a problem.
Same kids are back over here again. Remember last time?
Yeah, but you can't help it.
Huh?
Said, but you can't help it. We can't. I ain't backing up what they say. It's no.
There's no trash around here.
Okay, what?
Trash. Did better.
That's fine.
Water and everything.
Just feel sorry for the cops. Have to do this every week, though.
Huh?
Said I feel sorry for the cops. Have to do this every week. I'm sure there's better things they'd rather do.
Yeah.
I just want this to be here so they don't say that we're making racist remarks.
Mormon church is trying to reach out to me again. Just give you a heads up.
What's going on?
My mom used to go there.
Oh, that's right. Never mind, my bad.
They want me to return.
Got the city cops here today.
Told you that.
I wonder where the highway patrols are.
There's a few of them. That one right there. That's state
Yeah.
trooper, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a trooper right there.
Yeah.
Got one right there.
Yeah, Gainesville and Cook County over there.
You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and tap out. You will not be able
That
to
cop looks familiar.
stand and skip out from here
Who does?
because the revolution will not be televised.
What is?
Last name.
I can't see it.
You ain't hurt nobody.
Sounds
He's
kind of
got a hearing
racist.
issue. He's got the cochlear implant.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I know, I'm just saying, that's neat. That didn't stop him from becoming a police officer.
Why would it?
All I'm saying is that if they're talking about her, she's just sitting there, she ain't doing nothing.
I I know. She shouldn't have to move.
Big ol' ant was coming after you, man.
You saved my life. You're my hero. He just tapped her and said,
He touched her on the shoulder.
yeah, I think she's going to put a assault charge on him.
But all he did was touch her on the shoulder.
Yeah, but it's unwanted physical contact. So she's probably going to put assault charge on him. You're really going to put something like that on somebody for telling them thank you and tapped you on the shoulder?
Ruin somebody.
Do what, baby?
That can ruin somebody.
No, apparently don't care. That's shameful.
Okay. We're waiting on just a few more people, so we're gonna get started at 6:30. But I did want to go over a few announcements. So the way that we're setting up tonight, if everyone that's on our side could stay on this courthouse lawn, do not step into the road. I believe they're gonna try and keep counters across the street or around the blocks, wherever they are. So just stay on our side of the road and not engage as usual. We're gonna have quite a bit of education tonight, so you guys are more than welcome to listen to that from across the street. And then we'll get started at 6:30. So we're gonna continue to just play music. There is a sign-in sheet over here with Kamisha, if she could wave her hand real quick. And then I have another one floating. I don't know if you can hear me or where she is, but Courtney has one as well, and she should be waving her hand. So just sign in with her. We have waters and Gatorades and all the coolers around the cement, and there's hand sanitizer.
Do what, baby?
Curve over there, do you think they bother
But
me?
yeah, we're gonna get started.
No,
at 6:30,
well,
so I wanna let you know.
just for sake, we'll just stay over here and they stay over there. This way, nothing can be said.
But I wouldn't be doing
I
it.
can't sing, but
It don't matter, babe. This way just keeps it peaceful. I know, but it keeps it peaceful.
But I could listen.
Say I did it. Tell Ye now that I'm second to admit it. Insecure, I can't understand the application. If I applied myself, I guess there'd be no situation. But who teaches who when every day's a substitute? I tried to plant love, but it never took root. My soul's got weeds and the roots are too deep. The roots don't sell because the roots are too deep. Wait, ADD, see my roots too deep. A kid too afraid to close his eyes and sleep. Can't you hear me stutter every time I
Neighborhood
speak?
children.
Fear said hello when she left me.
What?
This isn't
Love
sex
being left me with
trafficking.
abandonment issues. Pain's a secret, but it illuminates in me. Then it creates a menu. Put sin on your plate. You don't know until later how much of it you ate. Now watch and wait. Will this album be my best one? But if it's not, y'all on to the next one. So hello fear, it's about time we speak. It may take a while, cause I'm intrigued.
William, she's flying her flag upside down. What does that mean?
That means the U.S. is in distress. Well, that's alright. But at least they blocked the road so it keeps everybody safe.
I'm gonna fly.
Huh?
He's going to go sit over there on the counter.
No, baby, stay over here. So this way nothing can be said.
When they start saying something, all I have to do is get up and walk away.
Yeah, but don't make it something it's not.
Just in case I had to run. I do what I can when I can, while I can for the people. While the clouds roll back and the stars fill the night, that's when I'm gonna stand up. Take my people with me. Together we are going to a
Oh, I put Spawn to sleep.
far
have a what?
Noose is. Why is that hanging up over there?
I don't have a clue. But you really shouldn't be bringing kids up here to this. Until it's over. It's a nice car. Yep. The what?
Confederacy lasted 4.5 years. Get over it.
They really don't understand the history of this. This has nothing to do with KKK or slavery. I said I wish they would actually study and go read the history, not what somebody just posts up there. Want to read about it? Go to the library, look it up, look at the definition of the meaning on the statute. It's not what they think. It's for the Second Amendment, but I don't see the point of having the guns here. All it's doing is just making everybody uptight.
We go again. Trayvon will never get to be an older man. Black children in childhood stole from them, robbed of our names and our language. Stole again. Who stole the soul from black folk? Same man that stole the lamp from cheap black smoke and made the whip crackle on our back slow. Made us go through the back door and raffle black bodies on the slave blocks. Now we slave to the blocks, on them we spray shots. Leaving our own and laying the box. Black mother's stomach staying or not. We kill each other, it's part of the plot. I wish the hating would stop. And the battle with us. I know that black lives matter and they matter to us. These are the things we gotta discuss. The new plantation, mass incarceration. Instead of educate, they rather convict.
Why don't they just say they're going to move the statue?
Is it a felony or a misdemeanor? Maria Sharapova making more misdemeanor.
Because they're making it something it's not.
The roads out of health education is really all they gave us. We need Abrams, court bookers. There's all on the earth to get us off of sugar and greasy foods. I don't believe the news. On radio, stereotypes we refuse. Brainwashed in the cycle of despair. We write our own stories, Black America again. You know, one way of solving a lot of problems that we got is let progressives heal that damn boy. And a man can't get himself together until he knows who he is and be proud of what it is. Damn Black America again. Think it's Sandra Bland as I'm staring in the wind. The color of my skin, they comparing it to sin. The darker it gets, the less fairer it is thin. The hate laid out here and check the mill. But I don't point the finger, we got to know the singers like Nina, Marvin, Billy, Stevie. Neither hit them song. Sometimes to believe me, freaky. Linking a Cadillac, drinking a battle rap. So is it God's speed that we travel at? Endangered in our own habitat. And guns and dope, man, y'all can have it back. As a matter of fact, we some lab rats. You was the project folk, now you want the hood back. I guess it's good rap. You would express it to that PTSD. We need professionals, you know the pressure do. It make the pipes bust from schools to pressure, y'all. They tryna pipe us to your
Another guy over there in the green shirt.
instead of making broken laws.
He used to be a dispatcher.
No.
The guy across the, next to the building, the green shirt.
Oh, yeah.
He used to be a dispatcher. His name's Joel. I forget why he got let go. I always said he's too smart for his own good.
Just looking around. Good gravy. Shoot, I almost get your phone, baby. they go. Both sides are trying to aggravate each other. The group down there on both sides are talking crap.
Over there?
Down on that end and across the road by the courthouse.
Yeah, the well-dressed picture I put on years ago. Scathing, I think fedoras and common.
Well, what I did, my friend told me to do, is I wear a hat a lot, man, not work. So I had to go without it, so
All right, everybody.
like,
We're
what
going
time
to
is
get
it?
started.
Yeah.
We're going to do it a little more traditional this time, and we're going to start with the pledge. I personally will be kneeling during the pledge just because even though it says justice and liberty for all, we know that that's not what that means. So I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Register so that he can say the pledge and then we'll get the actual
Hi, I'm Dr. Brown Register. I'm up from Austin. I'll talk about that in a minute, but she asked us to please start with a pledge. Also inclined, either put your hand over your heart, take a knee, stand at attention, whatever you believe to be most appropriate. Now, I'm a bit of a traditionalist. When they wrote the Pledge of Allegiance in the 1890s, they understood that this was supposed to be a equal religion country. But in the 1950s, they wanted to distinguish us from the Soviet Union, and they didn't think that all the mass slaughter in the Soviet Union was a big difference. So instead of that, they stuck under God in the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you don't mind, I'm going to say the Pledge of Allegiance now, and I'm going to leave out that 1950s imposition. So this is the original.
So he's taking God.
So he's taking God out of the pledge.
They're standing up. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
God!
Why are they taking religion out of everything?
We're actually very lucky to have Dr. Register here today. He has a doctorate in philosophy.
You can't name us as racist. It's
Is
God.
it? Sure. No, let her talk. She's got the right to talk.
Under God! So I'm going to go ahead and let him.
It's under God! Under God!
Let them yell all night, whatever we hear. Stay out of the road and stay on the ground.
There's Jessica and her stuff again.
It's under God!
With them.
Under
That's what
God!
I'm here for today, so do not engage with them. We're peaceful like we have been from the beginning. From June 13th to be exact, we have been peaceful. So I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Register. He's got a lot of good information, so please.
Most been peaceful except her right there, Jessica.
You take Allah out of something.
Peaceful, but yet they're down there cussing at us.
Alright.
You can't label us as racist.
No Hermes husband. I'm going to be trying to do some education.
Church by day doesn't mean you're not racist.
You're upset.
Does it
Right or wrong?
exclude that you're racist or something?
Alright, I'm Dr. Brown Register. I am from Austin. Because I am from Austin, this is not my statue.
Well, we would love our neighbor if they quit taking God out of everything.
A legislative agenda for a certain
She's
political
got
party to
God
see
on
to it that
Yeah.
the counties,
On a
the
poster
cities, and
board,
school
but they're
districts
taking God
cannot
out of the
decide for
Pledge of
themselves how to manage their own affairs.
That don't make no sense.
So sometimes the legislature wants to say, look, county, school districts, cities, you don't know how to decide whether to take a monument down, so we're going to write a law telling you you've been doing it wrong all this time. So they want to move that power up to the state level. I will not say that I am personally the one who stopped that law last time around, but I did spend a lot of time in staffers' offices. So you still have
That's
control.
what they're trying to do, babe.
The local government still has the control that it has always been supposed to have. Somebody probably had an aneurysm. There's some damn.
Oh, that is real professional right there.
Did you not? Are you not reading her sign?
I already read her sign.
Alright. So, people like to say that these monuments preserve our history.
They're under God!
These monuments under God preserve our history.
Oh, you said it! How'd that hurt? Did that hurt you bad to say that?
Sweetly hush. Alright, these monuments do not preserve our history. They're the opposite of history.
What do you expect from white trash?
History is all the things people have done in the past, and you can't affect that in any way. History is also the study of what people have done in the past, and that monument over there is not a study of anything. It has no interpretations.
Why the hell are you trying to take it down then?
It is not history. People will sometimes say that if we don't learn the lessons of history, we're doomed to repeat them. And then they want to keep something like that up. All right, here's what your monument here says. To the women whose patriotism will teach their children to emulate the deeds of their revolutionary sires. The point of the thing is to make people emulate their ancestors. Now that's not an effective way of getting people not to repeat the errors of history. It says, God holds the scales of justice, he will measure praise and blame, and the South will stand the verdict and will stand it without shame. Saying that you're not ashamed of something doesn't keep people from doing it again. It says, O home of tears, but let her bear this blazoned to the end of time. No nation rose so white and fair, none fell so pure of crime. People actually want to say, we learn from these monuments so we don't repeat our history. The whole point of the monument is to say specifically, let's repeat our history. It's explicit. They're saying, emulate the people we're honoring on the statue.
Well, I want to see you son of a bitches burn it, take that statue down. I want to see you burn these stores like you lined up.
Yeah,
looking is
good.
Yeah, this is the answer, yeah? Yeah, I want to see you burn some stores. Pussy.
And you know what? I'm going to do one of the singing part. Alright. So everyone knows the song Dixie. Well, the Union wrote it. They made their own fun version. So that's on the back of the first page of the pamphlet if you got it. Oh, down south of the land of traders, rattlesnakes and alligators, run away, come away, run away, come away. The cotton's king and then our chatters, Union boys will win the battles, run away, come away, run away, come away. The war go down, Dixie, away, away. Each Dixie boy must understand that he must mind his Uncle Sam. And if you're going harsh, I'm going to go back to singing.
Well, it knows a little bit about history, don't it?
It's more than just the tune. Alright, next page. Next page. This is a Confederate recruitment poster. This was posted in Virginia in May of 1861.
She can't come over here.
I know that's not.
Now that was a little bit more than a month into the shooting.
Oh, I'm
The first notable battle of the Civil War was the First Battle of Manassas, which was fought in late April 1861. The Confederate Army won that battle. So there were no Union soldiers anywhere in the South at the moment. There were no rumors of rapacious Yankees, either true or false. That stuff didn't start coming up until near the end of the war with Sherman's March. So this is a recruitment poster directed at the ordinary white Southern man. This was not directed at rich slave owners. This was directed at ordinary men who might or might not have sold anybody and mostly didn't. Alright, now here's what the ordinary
Because we don't agree with what they say. We
responded
want to
to.
keep the history,
Headquarters, Virginia
not
versus
get rid of
Virginia,
it. So we're
Virginia
racist
arrested.
because of it? That
The
makes
fold has been
no
invaded
sense. That's
by
ludicrous.
abolition foes. That's the first sentence. Right? They said, hey guys, we want you to join our army.
But instead of wasting your time on a monument, chip into your community and take care of your people instead of dividing
Not
them.
the tariffs, not the centralists, not the too much power in the executive, to fight the abolitionists. That's not postmodernism, that's not liberalism, it's not Marxism, it's not any historian at all, legitimate or illegitimate. That's what people in the Confederate Army thought would appeal to the ordinary Southern white man. All right, look a little bit farther down it. Let us drive back the invading foot of a brutal and desperate foe, or leave a record to posterity that we died bravely defending our homes and firesides. It's May 1861. There's no Yankees anywhere. No burnt homes, no burnt firesides. Who were they afraid of? All right? They were going to defend the honor of our wives and daughters. From whom? Not one rumor yet existed about rapacious Yankees. The only people that the ordinary Southern white man wanted to defend his wife and daughter from were dangerous black men, who we all know have criminal tendencies. The object of fear, though, was not the Union. The object of fear was liberated black people. They said it, not me. All right. Skip over to the next page. Skip over to the next page. This is a song written by an ordinary Confederate private. His name is T.W. Croson. He was a member of the Alabama Hickory's Infantry Regiment. And he wrote this song to the tune of a song called Root Hog or Die, which nobody's ever heard anywhere. It took me a long time to find it online. I will really need that. Thank you. Ordinary Southern soldier. And he wrote this little song. And it goes like this. Now, if you all listen while I relate about the case of freedom, you're here to calculate, oh, they've tried to enslave us, but sooner was the cry, oh, liberty for Southern boys, run, yank, or die. Okay, I got it so far. And then here starts the chorus. This chorus shows up 9 times in this song. In the chorus of this song, sung by ordinary Southern white men, mostly not slave owners, written by an ordinary Southern white man, probably not a slave owner, the chorus begins, hurrah for slavery! It's in there 9 times. You know, it's a marching song, so you don't just sing it once, you sing it over and over and over and over again all day long. So what happened is your ordinary Southern white boy gets up at 5 in the morning, has a cup of coffee, and then with his, tattered up boots that he was issued 6 months ago, and he's marched 1,000 miles on them, he got up, and from 6 in the morning until 8 at night, he said every about 9 minutes, hurrah for slavery. He marched 30 miles that day saying,
she got a sign over there, so the Trump hat with a hood saying new hat, same thing.
Thousands of times every day, the ordinary non-slave owning white Southern soldier said, hurrah for slavery. What was that guy fighting about?
Just when I think it's getting crazier.
Seattle, Portland, this is your true face.
Later, President Jefferson Davis explained what the ordinary Southern white man would fight for. He gave a speech in Aberdeen, Mississippi on May 26, 1851. Now, in newspapers at the time, they didn't have a recording, so they would say, the speaker said. So this is reported in the third person. This is from the newspaper. Colonel Davis said that he heard it said that the poor men, who owned their Negroes themselves, would all be against the institution and would consequently array themselves on the side of the so-called Union men. That is, that the submissionists claimed them. Right? So later President of the Confederacy, Jefferson Davis, said he had heard the idea that Southern white men wouldn't fight for slavery. But that he could not believe. But the poor men of the country were so blind to their own interests as to be thus cheated out of their privileges, which they now enjoy, that now they stand upon the broad level of equality with the rich man, equal to him in everything, save that they did not own so much, that no white man in the slaveholding community was a menial servant of anyone. But whenever the poor white man labored for the rich, he did so upon terms of distinction between him and the Negro. It was to the interest of the master to keep up a distinction between the white man and his employment and his Negroes, and that this very distinction elevated and kept the white laborer on a level with the employer. The ordinary Southern white man who did not enslave anybody was willing to fight for slavery because it meant that he was better than somebody. His identity consisted in not being black, in knowing that no matter how much he might be subordinate
Here they go
to
to go make it look like cops are doing something they're not now.
That is the president of the Confederacy saying the poor white men would fight for slavery. Not for an economic benefit, but for a cultural identity. You'll fight for your cultural identity, won't you? I mean, look around. We're all doing that, right? Everybody has the emblems of their culture right here. Nobody is here because they're getting paid. Not on either side of the street. Everybody is here fighting strictly for values. And people will say, well, the ordinary Southern white man can't possibly have fight for slavery because he didn't own slaves. Nobody valued slavery. He didn't need to get paid. He just had to feel good about it. He would die to feel superior to somebody. And you all know people like that. You all know that is a real
But
human
yet, a
phenomenon.
lot of white people in the
Here's what this
South
song is.
had helped the slaves to escape it.
I took this from the war songs and poems of the Southern
So why is he
Confederacy. This was
making
put
like
together by
everybody in the
Confederate veterans
South
in 1904.
are slave owners?
There's a lot of great songs from this one, but this is a nice short one that fits on a page. Lincoln's Troops.
I don't know.
So the editor says, in June 1865, a battalion of Texas Rangers arrived at Nashville and pitched its camp at the old fairgrounds. Now that is not true, because in June 1865, the war was over.
We're going to
But everybody who knows their Civil War history knows that Terry's Texas Rangers was in Nashville
I'm just
in
playing.
June of 1861. So that's a typo in the book. Here's this song that was written and sung often. Lincoln's troops, infatuated fools, taught in abolition schools, not terror schools, not centralist schools, not be like Abraham Lincoln too much schools, abolition schools. That's who they say their enemies are. Ordinary Southern soldier walking around saying, our enemies are our enemies because they're abolitionists. Lincoln's troops, infatuated fools, taught abolition schools, are coming south to pull their triggers, kill our boys in 3 hours, and we're not going. I am not getting on somebody's social media out of context with that. That's what the ordinary Southern soldier thought he was fighting for. The ordinary Northern soldier didn't care all that much about slavery. The Union was not trying to free the slaves. The Confederacy was trying to keep slavery, but the Union was not trying to end slavery. All right. Now, one interesting thing about the Civil War is that printing presses were a lot smaller and cheaper than they usually been. So a lot of individual regiments, and that's about 1,000 men, had their own individual printing presses that they would carry not into a battlefield, but they were on campaign with. And they would print their own individual regimental newspapers when they got some paper. So here's one. Most of these don't exist anymore because they were made very casually by people in the middle of the field. So this is one made by the 2nd Cherokee Cavalry Regiment under Colonel Robert Morgan. He's famous for Morgan's raid into Ohio. It's one of the several southern invasions of the North that Confederati don't want you to remember about. So this was printed in November of 1862. In the same issue of this, they had printed the Emancipation Proclamation. Abraham Lincoln on September 22, 1862, had said, slavery is going to be ending in all of the areas currently in rebellion as of January 1st. So the Vidette here printed that, and then it said this, and this is written by an ordinary Southern soldier in a little regimental newspaper. It is a hard matter to get Union men to acknowledge that this is an abolition war. We will say to you, if I thought this was a war for the abolition of slavery, I would not only lay down my arms which have taken up in the defense of the Union, but I would go into the Southern Army. Now that the Emancipation Proclamation has been issued, any man who pretends to believe that this is not a war for the emancipation of the blacks, and that the whole course of the Yankee government has not only been directed to the abolition of slavery, but even to a storing up of servile insurrections, is either a fool or a liar. That is an ordinary Southern infantryman saying the Yankees have been only pretending not to want to free the slaves. But that was their agenda the whole time. All right. So that's what they thought about during the war. What they think about after the war. Well, we can check the people who erected most of these monuments. The United Brothers of the Confederacy. They published a book in 1913. So a woman who was about to become their second historian general, and this is S.E.F. Rose, wrote a book called The Ku Klux Klan, or Invisible Empire. And as you can see on the page, this was endorsed unanimously by the United Brothers of the Confederacy, the Sons of Confederate Veterans, in 1913. All right, dedication. This book is dedicated by the author, the United Brothers of the Confederacy. This book is dedicated by the author to the youth of the Southland, hoping that a perusal of its pages will inspire them with respect and admiration for the Confederate soldiers who were the real Ku Klux. The organization that put that thing up there said that the Confederacy and the Ku Klux Klan were the same thing. They said it. That is not postmodern historical lies. That's not from the 21st century. That is the very people who put those monuments up said, we are honoring the Confederacy, which is the KKK. That is a KKK monument.
That is
not
such
an
bullcrap.
interpretation. That is a straightforward fact. If I say the Confederacy and the Klan are the same and the Confederacy is good, I have said that the Klan is good. There is no question about that. It is straightforwardly dishonest to pretend that is not the case.
I don't know what webpage he's getting that from, but that is
How
wrong.
did the usual Southern soldier feel after the defeat? Did he think, well, that didn't go great? You just come, no. All right, one more song. This was written by a sure enough unreconstructed of 1865. So this was a common song sung after the war. Maybe it was sometimes sung as a joke, but it's one of those, it's funny because it's true kind of jokes. A so-called Major N.S. Randolph wrote, I'm a good old record. This was reprinted, it was reprinted in the volume that they handed out at the dedication of the Hood Memorial down at the Texas Capitol. And that's named after a General Hood, not the headwear. So here's how very, very, very many Southern men felt about the Union after their defeat. Oh, I'm a good old rebel, now that's just what I am. For the fair land of freedom, I do not care a damn. I'm glad I fight against it, I only wish we won, and I don't want to pardon for anything I've done. I hate the Constitution, this great republic too. I hate the Freedmen's Bureau in uniforms of blue. I hate the nasty eagle with all his brags and fuss. The burning thieving Yankees, I hate them worse and worse. I hate the whole Yankee nation,
I really
everything
would
they
love to
do.
see where he
I
got
hate
all
the
this from.
Declaration of Independence too. I hate the glorious Union, 'tis dripping with our blood. I hate the striped banner, I fight it all I could. That's Southern men after the war. That was what they sang to express their feelings about the Union. They're singing this all over the South. They constantly sing it, I hate the Declaration of Independence. Now that exact phrasing might have been a little bit of a joke, but if you think that this song here is a joke, you do not understand people. No, I didn't write it. It was written by Major N.S. Randolph. I don't know who he served, but you can look that up in the War Songs and Poems of the Southern Confederacy, published in 1904. All right, next part of the lesson. I'm going to need a couple of Vanna Whites to hold a couple of things up. That wasn't a joke. I need some help.
Under God! Haven't said it yet. Say the pledge again.
Try your on, bro. All right, take a look at this flag here. Take a look at this flag here. This is the flag known as the Stars and Bars. People will often think that the thing that you're expecting to see is called the Stars and Bars because it's got the X cross thing and you think that's the bars. This is the Stars and Bars. This is the first national flag of the Confederacy. They adopted this thing kind of in a hurry, and they wanted to make it as much like the U.S. flag as they could. So they just took the stripes and turned them into the 3 bars, and they put a new number of stars in it for the number of states in the Confederacy. Now, that flag has a certain small problem, which was noticed very early in the war, the First Battle of Manassas, according to General Beauregard. In a battlefield where there's smoke and chaos and confusion, that thing wrapped around a flag looks exactly like the Stars and Stripes wrapped around a flag. So the First Battle of Manassas, there were a huge number of friendly fire incidents on both sides, because each side kept thinking that the other side's flag, that its flag was the other side's flag. So they stopped flying this one over battlefields, and they came up with something slightly different, which I'll show you.
Under God! Nobody said it right here. It's not America. What is it? If you can't say the pledge right, what is it? You can't do it.
This is This is what you think of when you think the Confederate flag. All right. So the actual Confederate battle flag was this, but square. All right. I want everybody here to remember who's applauding what. All right. This is what we nowadays think of as the Confederate flag. It's not even a Confederate flag. This flag was not deployed by any land forces of the Confederate Army at any point during the war.
Then what's the problem?
But the square version of it is the Confederate battle flag. All right. This flag here, though, was designed by one William Porcher Miles. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, that's the one at the park.
Don't remember when you're old guys. Come on over here.
I'm still not going to talk about all our guys. This is what I get for asking y'all to talk amongst yourselves. If y'all don't hush, I'm going to send everybody in the corner. Keep changing about Allah, bro.
Always in the
The
middle.
man who designed this flag is William Culture.
Because we're here to get both sides, let them do their self-in, not everybody else involved.
Graphic designers. They just want somebody around who's good at flags. And in this particular case, William Culture Miles is a South Carolina professor of literature.
She's in her right, so she can do it.
Giving speeches. So he told us
She ain't causing no problems. Everybody needs to leave her alone.
Alright, so this is from an address that he gave on March 30th, 1852 to some learned society. Alright, so he has been speaking about a number of issues. He's been speaking about a number of issues, and he says, I talked about this stuff.
To show us what the meanings are.
If I say under God, will you hush?
Telling us stuff that we already knew about the Confederate
If I
flag,
say under
but
God, will you hush? If I say under God, will you hush? I don't care. I'm not bowing. Fine, under God. Now will you hush? All right.
Do you believe in God?
He has been talking about several issues because it can bring up a prevalent political error. That error is that a Republican form of government is not only the best form of government abstractly, but that it's necessarily everywhere and always the only good and tolerable and true form of government. This is a very common idea among Americans, he says. He says that Americans certainly need a representative democracy or a republic for ruling the Anglo-Saxon race. No national constitution which does not recognize the great principles of the responsibility of the rulers to the ruled can be available.
Everyone.
The Anglo-Saxon race. That's not everybody. The title of the speech is Republican Government Not Everywhere and Always the Best. The point of the speech is that a free society is for white people, the Anglo-Saxon race. We are safe in assuming that it is not every condition of a people, nor even every people in their best condition, which means even if we were to have fully educated black people, they still wouldn't be susceptible to freedom. It is not every condition of the people, not even people in their best condition, which admits of or can support Republican or self-government. Our own great experiment in America had everything in its favor, whether we look to the character of the people, the geographical position of the country, or the adventitious circumstances of the case. The Anglo-Saxon race seems to possess in an eminent degree those qualities requisite for national self-government. So this is going to make some of us feel really nice. An inflexible love of justice, great tenacity of purpose, a certain instinct of reverence for existing institutions, which make them averse from fickle changes, a constitutional equanimity and moderation, in a word, a steady equilibrium resulting from a due mixture of attributes peculiarly their own, sound judgment and practical common sense. This guy who made that flag actually said that Anglo-Saxons are peculiarly the people with sound judgment and practical common sense, and I am 100% blushing. I've never been so praised. All right. He then is asking about some Hungarian politician, and he wonders why it is that certain people like this Hungarian politician. Which people? Red Republicans, that red, that means as in communist Republicans. Socialists, red Republicans, socialists and communists, abolitionists, free soilers and barn burners. The guy who made that flag thought that abolitionism was communism. The guy who made that flag thought abolition was communism. Now, They say if you don't learn the lessons of history, you're doomed to repeat them. In 1850, there's a famous Southern preacher named Benjamin Thornwell who gave a sermon, widely reprinted, about how abolitionists were communists. That was 1850. That is 2 years after the Communist Manifesto, and they started saying that abolitionists were communists. Bump up to the 1950s. All across the South, they've got gigantic billboards talking about how Dr. King's a communist. Nowadays, you say Black Lives Matter and someone screams Marxist organization. That lie has not changed in 200 years. You are telling the same lies that our great-great-great-great-grandparents told.
Marx was an abolitionist.
He continues.
Oh my God, people, really?
No, hush. Oh, cannot have everything. This would seem self-evident. Yet it is the very contrary of this which red republicanism, socialism, or whatever other form the hydra-headed monster may assume practically asserts. Political liberty, gentlemen, I say it boldly, is not an inalienable right, but an acquired privilege. To regard it in any other light is to lower its value and debase its nature. The monstrous and dangerous fallacy of Thomas Jefferson, with which our Declaration of Independence begins, has even among us, by thinking men, been long detected and abandoned. And yet this very fallacy, which melts away at the first breath of logic, which vanishes at the first glance of reason and good sense, has been made the foundation, the cornerstone of almost all the political fabrics which the restless imaginations of men in so many countries are striving to erect. But they will find their labor in vain, and that they are building upon sand. Men are neither born free nor equal. The man who designed that flag said that the Declaration of Independence was wrong. All right, next flag.
You don't know anything.
All right, last flag. No, don't put it upside down, it matters. This is the second national flag of the Confederacy. So I mentioned the problems with the Stars and Bars. All right, remember that applause again. Y'all are gonna love this one. All right. So they didn't like the Stars and Bars. It wasn't working on the battlefield. They wanted a new flag. They've been fussing about it for a long time. All right. So, all right. The subject of a new flag. Oh, sorry. This is written by William Tappy Thompson in the Daily Morning News of Savannah, Georgia, on April 23rd, 1863. This flag was adopted less than a week later. Its first public deployment was when it covered the casket of Stonewall Jackson after the Battle of Chancellorsville. Right? This was written a week before that, before this was chosen as the new national flag of the Confederacy. The subject, since the first flag had come out, has been frequently discussed in Congress and by the press, but neither have been able to agree upon a substitute for the flag to which all object on account of its resemblance to that of the abolition despotism against which we are fighting. Not the tariff despotism, not the centralist despotism, abolition despotism. The man who designed that flag said that that flag was going to be an emblem against abolition. To avoid the evil consequences growing out of the confusion of flags on the battlefield, General Beauregard, we believe, adopted the Southern Cross or battle flag, which is the thing in the upper left corner of that.
Go fix yourself!
Which has so grown in favor with the Army as to now be almost universally substituted in the field for the Stars and Bars. This battle flag has been consecrated by the best blood of the nation, is hallowed by the memories of glorious victories, and is sanctified by the symbol of our religious faith, and illuminated by the constellated emblems of our Confederate states, but it is in some respects unsuited for national instinct. It's got the wrong shape, and you can't flip it upside down. The objects to be attained in the adoption of a flag are simplicity, distinctness, significancy, and beauty. To combine the liberty colors, red, white, and blue, so as to accomplish these ends, and yet to avoid too great resemblance to the flag of some of the nations with difficulty to be overcome, by a very simple arrangement, all these ends may be attained, but to our taste, a very appropriate and beautiful flag formed. Our idea is simply to combine the present battle flag, upper left, with a pure white standard sheet, our Southern Cross blue